Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. What is it you really desire? A lot of us, and I get questions, I get comments, I get a lot of things. People have coached. There's a number of places where this comes into play. And it's just something that's so pervasive, and I don't think a lot of us realize we do it. So I wanted to kind of do a show on it. I don't know. This is a fun topic for me. Fun in the sense that it's something I've done too. It's something I see happen all the time. And it's something that can actually hinder our whole forward progress. So many of us will trip, stumble, and fall and biff our face right into the ground because of this very thing. So let me set it up a little bit. Let's say you're trying to manifest a specific person. Let's just keep it in something love-related because it's probably what the focus of this. I mean, you can apply it to money. You can apply it to whatever you want. But love is generally the one that's a lot of people are after. They're trying to get exes back. Maybe they're trying to get with someone specific that they know. Maybe they're just tired of being alone and they want to be in a relationship. One way or the other, we want to have somebody special in our life. So we'll use these imagination techniques, this law of attraction stuff, and we'll imagine a situation. We'll live in the end. We'll apply senses to it. We'll operate from multiple perspectives. We'll remember when, and we'll, I don't know, there's so many of them, right? Shows and shows of techniques that people can do. So we do all this effort, and our whole focus is to get in a relationship with Joey. We want Joey in a relationship. That's what we're focusing on. That's what it's all about. So to us, it's the relationship. It's that moment when Joey, I guess, I don't know, just gets down on his knee and says, will you be my girlfriend, or are we steady? Or when you can finally comfortably ask that question where, hey, so what's really going on with us? What's our status? And they'd be like, oh my God, like we're totally going out. Like, I don't know how Joey is going to have that discussion with you, but that's your end result. That's where you're wanting a relationship, right? So to you, that's him being in a relationship with you, which usually there's a discussion, I would figure, at some point where that happens. But, so you've been trying to manifest, you got all this stuff going on. Finally, Joey and you end up going on your first date. And you guys maybe go to the movie, maybe you go to a dinner, maybe it was very similar to things that you'd already kind of imagined and experienced, in your mind anyways. And you go out and you have this amazing night. Maybe he shakes your hand. I don't know. Maybe gives you a peck on the cheek. Maybe just gives you a hug. Whatever. I mean, I'm not figuring you're like making out outside. Maybe you are, but that generally answers a lot of questions. But it doesn't quite go to that distance. But you have an amazing night together. You have wonderful conversation. You spend time talking, and you get some sort of like a, hey, let's do this again. Do you walk away from that and go, I didn't get my manifestation. He didn't ask me out. He didn't ask me to be his girlfriend. Or do you see it as one step closer to that end result that you keep thinking about? And if you see it as one step closer towards your end result, awesome. Fantastic. But what a lot of us do is we go, yeah, but we're not together. He's not my boyfriend. And you hear how I'm saying it? It's like, we're not together. He's not mine. He's not, like, it's not what I wanted. It's not what I was manifesting. But it's a step towards it. Yeah, but it's not, he didn't say that he wanted to be my girlfriend or boyfriend. But then there's the part of you that's like, but rationally, you went on one date. Like, you should almost be concerned if he said, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend after going out once? Like, that's kind of crazy. I mean, it could happen. You meet people, you get that spark, people fall in love first sight, and they go and run off to Vegas and get married. I mean, yeah, it happens. It happens for sure. I'm sure a lot of those marriages don't last, but it does happen, and there are plenty of examples of where it works. So it's possible. It's totally possible. But playing the numbers, it's kind of what I like to do. People call that reality, and there's a little of that. Like, there's a little of the, hey, so like if 80% of people are pulling it off this way, and then there's a smaller fraction of people that pull it off in these other weird ways, well, generally, I kind of like to play the numbers. It seems like there's a better shot at accomplishing this if I go down this path. So many of us focus on the status and then get bummed We derail ourselves. We get upset. Maybe you're trying to manifest a relationship with Jim. And maybe through all the work and everything that happened, and Jim, maybe someone you don't even know. And out of the blue, maybe he said hi to you one day. That was a big deal, right? It was a step in the right direction. You're like, all right, cool. He said hi to me. I like that. Like, we're getting there, right? And then the very next day, maybe somehow he ends up asking you for a number. And then maybe he texts you, and maybe you guys text a few times. Do you start looking at it and going, but we're not together yet? He's not my boyfriend. I'm so upset. I'm so bummed. Or do we see the fact that the manifestation's occurring? You're heading towards it. This is the birds before land. This is the baby steps before. These are the stepping stones to your relationship. So yes, your end result is marriage or boyfriend or whatever. But before you ever get there, no matter what, I don't care what anyone says. Oh, you're limiting me, Dan. You're saying I can't go from 0 to marriage in 1 second. You probably can't. And really, you kind of should pump the brakes and not want to. First off, people are oftentimes a little different than we imagine them to be. If you've never met the person before, get to know him. Spend some time talking with him. Don't just be infatuated by something he said, something he did, how he looks. Like, there's more to a relationship than that. So let's hope this has more legs to run on, if you will, than just he's good looking, man. Have you seen him? Have you seen him with his shirt off? Oh, which again, wonderful. More power to you. Get a nice guy that looks good with his shirt off, that makes good money, right? Like, let's just paint a wonderful individual. And he's sensitive, right? All those things. Definitely want it. But do we look at what we're trying to accomplish and get upset when it doesn't quite go how we want it to go? And then I think what most people do in that case, if it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, you wanted it to go a different way, it didn't. Didn't at all. No, it didn't. In fact, now that I think about how it didn't, I'm pretty upset. I'm not happy with this. This law of attraction crap doesn't work. I wanted a relationship with him. He just texted me. What the hell? I texted him back, and then it's like an hour and a half later, he finally texts me back again. Well, that's not it. That's not what I want. Whoa. Yeah, it is. You want a relationship. You barely know the guy, or you're barely talking right now. Maybe you broke up, right? You're barely talking right now. And so many of us were like, well, yeah, but we broke up already. I know I'm jumping around, but it works. We broke up already. So we should just be able to get back together, because in my mind, everything's ready to go. My engine's revving, right? I'm ready to go. Let's drop it. Let's drop it into overdrive, and let's get on moving, if you know what I mean. But the other player, the other participant, may not be as far along in their minds as you. They might need to come at this from a slightly different angle. And so maybe you shouldn't use the same metrics that we're using to gauge where we're at with it, because I spend all day fantasizing about it. I spend all day thinking about it. I spend all day living in the end and imagining. Of course they do too. Maybe not. Maybe not. They might, but maybe not. So instead of falling prey to this expectation, to this, it must happen the way I'm thinking in my mind, or it doesn't happen at all. Well, none of us say it that way, but that's kind of what you're saying. It didn't happen the way I wanted it, so I'm bummed, not happy. Well, in getting bummed, sometimes we put up like attitudes. Sometimes we might act weird. Maybe we start like thinking all this stuff in our heads, like, well, they don't like me, they don't like me, they don't like me. When it was your flirtatious behavior before that was actually kind of an attractive force to him. You were kind of just going with it. You were just being who you were, and the way you were being with him was cute. And so he liked it. But now all of a sudden you're thinking about it, and you're like, oh, no, that's not how he's obviously not seeing it that way. He's obviously not, because he only texted me. We're obviously not together. He must think I suck. He must think I'm nothing. He must think that, I'm not an attractive person. Whatever the heck we come up with. It's not him saying that. It's you. And the fact that He just texted you is a step towards you. It's a step towards you. So I guess the final part of this where I want to see if I could illustrate it from a slightly different angle. Trying to manifest a specific relationship with someone. And I get a text message. Does that text message mean they like me? Because some people are trying to manifest a text message, right? I'm just trying to get a text. He didn't do that. He smiled at me the other day, but he won't text me. I direct commented him on Facebook and left my phone number, and he still hasn't texted me. Does him texting you mean that he loves you? Does him texting you mean he doesn't love you? Does him texting you mean that you forever are going to be together? Does him texting you mean, no, you're never going to be together? Him texting you really means nothing. It's a step towards larger communications. For sure, a text message is a step towards communicating. And if communications go well, they tend to happen more often. If communications get weird, they tend to stop happening. If we get weird every time the communication doesn't play out the way we expected it, then we start to act different because it didn't behave the way it should have. Because in our minds, they should text me back, and they should text me back in a very specific manner that I want, so I understand that you do love me, that you think about me, that you fantasize about me, that you want to spend your whole life with me, that you constantly are imagining a better life with me. Well, you're not going to get that in a text message. Even if you're married together, probably not going to get that in a text message. I don't want to type that much crap. I'd rather just leave you a voicemail. I'll do that. You don't answer your phone when I call? I'm going to leave you a voicemail to say, hey, honey, thinking about you. Just want to say, talking dirty, right? Like something, I don't know, whatever the hell I'd say. So does a text message mean all that? Or does it mean nothing? Or, I don't know, does it mean what we decide it means? Oh, no, what? Huh? Yeah. Does it mean what we decide it meant? Another example. A lot of us put a lot of substance on that whole ring thing, right? A lot of us out there trying to imagine the ring on our finger. And I've talked about it. Don't get me wrong. It's a great symbol. What I'm talking about is I'm happy with the steps in between. I'm happy going from I've never spoken to this person in my life to I am standing at the end of the aisle watching her walk down to me, and, that's rad, right? But the difference is I'm stoked with all the steps in between. I love when all of a sudden she went from she doesn't even know who I am to she was maybe at the coffee bar putting cream in her coffee, and I said something like, dude, those are really cool shoes. And she turned around and said, thanks, man. That's really nice of you. Thanks. Appreciate that. You have a good day. And then you walked out, and I'm like, we've talked. Step one towards my conquest. Dun, dun, dun. Right? But I don't look at it like, oh, she didn't give me her phone number. Oh, all these things didn't happen. Oh, life sucks so bad. No, it doesn't. Life's rad. It is so super cool right now. She freaking turned around and smiled at me. Oh, this is great. I can't wait till I get a chance to talk to her again. Versus, it didn't happen how I imagined it. Again, I've said, and I'm going to say this to a lot of people. Yes, manifestations can happen exactly as you can. They can, for sure, and do in plenty of cases. Not in all cases. For all of you out there that are like, yeah, well, I know someone that didn't manifest exactly like they said. Right. Does everybody you know follow that, and has that happen for everybody you know? No. I'm 100% sure it hasn't. It's different for all of us. Now, a lot of us, most of us are going to fall into it happened almost exactly or really similar. Couple things different, couple actors changed, maybe someone's name was slightly different, right? Happened really close or very close. That is a lot of people. That's where the numbers are. Okay? Is it going to happen exactly how you meant? No. A lot of times, sometimes it will. I'm not saying it won't. But it's going to be so freaking similar, or it's going to be reminiscent enough of what you've been imagining that you'll be able to connect the dot back to, oh, that's from the stuff I've been doing. That's what I've been talking about. It will for sure be something that you can get it back to that place. So many of us put so much pressure on the ring, on the way things should happen, on the proper procedures and steps towards it, that we fail to see the small victories that we get many, many times. And as I've said many, many times, and I'm going to say many, many more times, it is not the destination. And I know a lot of people are like, yeah, whatever, I've heard it before. I know, I get it. I get where you're coming from. I'm not trying to disagree with you. Yeah, you want the end result. You want your thing. I got you. But once you get your thing, once you've got your boyfriend, is there a next step? Do you guys go further than that? Or is that the end of the relationship? I mean, if you're so determined to have this moment in time where this thing has happened, is that the end? Are you done? No. There's going to be additional stuff. So no matter what, whatever it is you're thinking about is not the end result. Living in the end. So many of us talk about that. You're living in a moment. You're living in a reality that you're helping create. It's not the end. There's no end. The end, I guess, is when you die. That's the end. Now you're done. You're done. Go home. You get to go home now. You're done. You have officially turned in your last library card or your last library book. I don't know why a library is what I came with. Paid your taxes for the last time, probably. Man, that's pretty cool. But you're not done. You're not in the end. You're not trying to have this moment occur only. What you're trying to do is create a steady stream towards something. What you focus on is what you head towards. It's not a thing. There might be moments within your path that are things, if you will, but you're going to walk right past that thing and continue down your path and experience more things. So getting all hung up on the thing, getting all hung up on this, whatever it is, whatever your thing is, thinking that that is success is ill-sighted. It's short-sighted. Success comes in many flavors. Success comes in a number of different things that are going to happen to you. You may get a crazy hunch and then get a text message out of the blue. That has nothing to do with your relationship per se, but it indicates to you, oh my God, I had a connection right before I got the thought transmission. I felt him because then all of a sudden I saw the text message and I thought of him. He popped into my head. That's awesome. We're connected. Wow, he's thinking about me and then he's sending me this and I kind of felt groovy about it. It almost felt like love. Woo! So if your end result is the fact that you want to be together as a boyfriend and you just got a text message and felt him, well, you might not be as thrilled about that as I would. I'd see that as a freaking awesome indicator or step towards being with this person. And I would look forward to all sorts of other awesome things that are going to happen. You're going to get a lot of little things. A lot of little things will add up to the big thing. It's rarer or more rare to have it just go straight to big thing. It's kind of weird when it happens. We're usually not ready for it. I mean, there's a lot of negatives actually around that. A lot of winners, one of my favorite people to point out, people that have won the lottery, very commonly become bankrupt within 3 years, I think is actually the number. I've been saying 5 typically, but I think it's actually within 3 years, they're bankrupt. It's because they're not used to having wealth. They're not used to dealing with wealth. They're not used to having 1,000 people approach them and say, hey, you're super rich. Why don't you buy this house? Hey, here's something you can invest in. You'll make money hand over fist. And then you start doing it and you realize I'm making no money. In fact, I'm losing money. I got ripped off. A really good friend of mine got a divorce, was married to a dude with a lot of money. A lot of money. She got a really nice divorce settlement. A lot of money. And ended up with a dude. He talked her into helping finance a surf company thing that he was doing down in like Jamaica or something like that. He was down there running it, ended up meeting another girl, ran the business into the ground. She lost everything. Everything. Because she didn't know how to handle that type of responsibility. So, my point is we evolve towards our end result, even though it's not the end. I'm just using the words. We evolve towards it. We're stepping towards it. And in that evolution, little things will happen. Enjoy those. See them for what they are. Increments towards. Like they say, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. if you actually looked at the single step and said, of an increment of 1,000 miles, how many of these steps? Well, there's 5,200 of them roughly in every single mile, and there's 1,000 miles, so 5,200 times 1,000. Well, that just starts to become like 5 million, right? It's a lot of stuff, a lot of steps. So when I look at that one step, now all of a sudden I hate it. I hate the fact that it took one step. But just a moment ago, when I said a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, it was like, yeah, let's take a step. Screw it. Let's do this. How are you looking at it? What's your focus? What are you truly trying to accomplish? Dan, Radio Style.